Hey guys, hope you're all doing well today. It is the 7th of June. Feels like we just got into June and it's already starting to fly by, so it's going quick. So, I learned some things about rendering in my computer. I spent the last, I don't know, four days researching stuff into my computer, and I'm editing just a small clip now of something. It's not anything to do with this video, it's just something I'm putting on Facebook. But anyway, this research that I did had to do with rendering and the components of my computer. Rendering itself takes a huge amount of impact on your processor, but it also takes a decent amount of memory and graphics. You need all three of those to coexist well enough in the same area. When I was looking at even mid-tier rendering computer builds, I didn't exactly match the specs that they had. My processor is fine. I have 8-core processor. Totally good. My memory is fine. I have 16 gigabytes. The mid-tier they had was like 8. So, or no, low tier was 8, mid-tier was 16. So I'm right along, as far as the processor and memory goes, I'm right along that. The thing that I didn't do well in was the graphics card. A mid-tier graphics card, because graphics cards have their own memory. A graphics card for rendering for a mid-tier should have about 6 to 8. Mine has 2, so it's a little older and outdated. I have a 760. Memory cards are categorized by, a lot of times by number. That's the majority of them. So right now I'm looking at one over 1,000. The one I have now is 760 at 2 gigabytes. I'm looking for anything over 1,000 with 6 to 8 gigabytes. That should do the trick. The only problem is that those are like $300 to $400, so it's not exactly a cheap buy by any means. Once I actually put that in, I'll be able to do a lot more with the video content, just because the computer I have now is built for high-end gaming. Actually, it was built for high-end gaming a year or two ago. Now with that 760, it's kind of run its course, and the graphics card needs to be updated. I love that graphics card to death. MSI makes great quality stuff, so I think I'm going to stick with them. But I am going to have to get a new graphics card, so I'm going to do some research into those, see if I can find one for a decent price, and I'll have to dish the money out somehow. I may just have to use a credit card and build my credit up with it, I guess. It's the plus to having credit cards. You just got to make sure you stay on top of those payments. Moving on. So now that that's done, one thing I wanted to get into in this video has to do with the top 5. This video was going to be a little different. It was going to be my computer information for rendering, but also getting into a top 5. There is something I did want to touch on though real quick with the rendering. The reason I'm getting into this rendering now and looking into future buys for it is just for the fact that I found out with the Pixel 2 and the GoPro, those two can shoot in 1080 and it's fine. This camera that I'm shooting with now only shoots up to 720, and I think there's a conflict with the footage from this mixing with the footage from my Pixel 2 and the GoPro. I use this one because of the mic. The Pixel 2 isn't bad with a mic, and neither is the GoPro, but they're not really the best. They're not better than this one. I would have to get an external mic for those. So I think going back and forth and using different footage and stuff like that, it's just a lot for my processor to handle, especially with the low graphics card. So I'm going to have to look into that graphics card thing. So getting into the top 5. I wanted to make top 5s for different things. This is going to be the start of those videos, and this one's going to be video game themed. So let's get into it. Alright, so before I actually get to this top 5, I want to touch on something real quick. I'm actually enjoying doing my top 5s like this in a vlog style rather than a proper setup. One, I don't really have a proper setup, but I want to hear what you guys think. Would you rather see me do them like this, or would you rather see me actually have like a proper setup for it? Actually take the time, do a more private, personal video for a top 5 or a top 10. Let me know in the comment section below, and over time I may have to change them. Who knows? But until then, I'm going to do it this way because I like it. So, okay, so this top 5 has to do with a piece of video games. Video games to me can be seen as two different things. One, as a form of art, because they are art. Very beautiful art. Number 2, they're like puzzles. They take a lot of complex, unique pieces to make fit well and work in a way that is just amazing. Some don't really hit the ball, and some hit the nail right on the head, you know? So there are some games that have really nice soundtracks that I listen to, but they weren't able to make this list, so I just want to give a quick shout out to those. Rise of the Argonauts, Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, Kingdom Hearts 2, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. All four of those are just amazing soundtracks to listen to. I still listen to them now. They're just... It's kind of hard to beat out the ones that I hold very high to myself, so yeah, on to the top 5. Alright, so number 4 and 5 are actually kind of flip-floppy. I listen to both of the soundtracks on and off depending on my mood, on if I'm playing the game at a certain time. If I'm playing number 4, I really like the soundtrack and I'll really get into it. If I'm playing 5, the soundtrack to me is awesome and I really love it, so they may flip-flop. They're both Pokemon games. I'm going to say right now number 5 is the original soundtrack for the original Pokemon Gold and Silver games back in 1999, I think it was. Games are awesome. To me, it's solely based on nostalgia. I love going through Ilex Forest or Blackthorn City and hearing the themes or the songs, or surfing. The surfing theme song is just, it's soothing. It's very soothing and I love it in a weird way. But that would come in at number 5. Number 4 is Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. That one I like just for the fact that it meshes so well with the actual gameplay. Like another game on this list, what I mean by that is that it actually, as you're playing the game, certain songs may start playing to either get you really pumped up for something that's coming up, or they may just fit the mood so well that it actually makes you think you're there and it immerses you in the gameplay. 2 spots. One is, I think the song is called Let's Go Home. It's at the very end of the main storyline of the game. And number 2 is Sky Pillar, when you're actually inside the Sky Pillar trying to get to the top of it to play Rayquaza. And it has to do with the whole Rayquaza Deoxys Mojo story thing going back and forth. Love that soundtrack, but again, 4 and 5 could be flip-flop just depending on my mood and when I'm playing the game. So for the longest time, number 3 was actually number 2 until recently, probably within the last 5 months. Number 3 is arguably one of the best soundtracks for the game in my opinion, ever made, and that would be the soundtrack for Skyrim. Absolutely love it. Like the soundtrack for Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it fits the game. And it does so perfectly to make you immersive in the game, but also filling the voids when there's not really any action going on, but you still hear the sounds of the light flutes or the harps in the background, along with the crickets and the birds chirping, and it makes you feel like you're in the game, exploring the lands of Skyrim and just having a blast with it. Not to mention when you're in a tavern, that's like one of the best soundtracks to listen to. So if you haven't gotten a chance to, definitely check it out. Now, the game that took over that spot as the new number 2 on my list is Stardew Valley. The game itself is amazing and it's a true gem in the gaming industry, but the soundtrack is something else completely. I'm a huge fan of relaxation. I get into listening to thunderstorms. I absolutely love thunderstorms. Watching a blizzard, listening to ASMR on YouTube. The soundtrack is one of those things. It's relaxing. In fact, I saw an article written by a guy who listened to the soundtrack just so he could relax while in college. He's never played the game before, but it was that relaxing of a soundtrack to where it actually took the stress away from him of college life. And that can speak volumes for the soundtrack. And now, coming in at number 1 is the soundtrack for Kingdom Hearts 1. Now for this I actually mean the original soundtrack, the one that we got here in the US. At the time that soundtrack came out, Japan got the final mix edition, which included some more songs like One Wing Angel from Final Fantasy VII, when you fight Sephiroth. We didn't get that, unfortunately. We didn't actually get that until the remakes came out for 1.5 and 2.5 and 2.8 and so forth. Unfortunate, but that's how the cookie crumbles. That game to me is a perfect mix of when two distinctly different genres can actually come together and work well in the same game, in the same universe. When you have both Final Fantasy working with Disney characters to create stories that are just amazing arcs with each other, and it's breathtaking. And when you put the soundtrack with it, it not only immerses you with it, but it gives you, it can really pump you up, especially for the the high intensity, almost anime-like fight scenes in the game. So if I had to recommend one song from the Kingdom Hearts soundtrack, it would be Simple and Clean. They actually did a couple versions of it on the CD, and I feel like they've really built a lot around that song to where they could use it in following games after the first one. Alright, so that's going to do it for this top 5. If you like it, make sure to subscribe and hit the button below, and give me a like. And if you don't like it, tell me why. Tell me what, list me what were your top 5 favorite soundtracks of all time, or what was your number 1 song that you really fell in love with for a game. Let me know below. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for this video. If you did like it, if you have any comments on the top 5 or on my graphics card situation, by all means let me know in the description box below, and I will see you in the next video. Take care and farewell.